This video is all about how Albion Online is unbalanced and unfair in many different ways. PvP, PvE, pay to win. Let's get into it. I will show and cite many different examples of how this game suffers from imbalance issues and is completely unfair to either new players or poor players in the real world. First off, I want to talk about item power and gear imbalances and how unfair it is for anyone going up against someone of lesser gear quality, value, or specialization. So here I have a character, my Swole Benji YouTube character, who has level 8.4 enchanted gear. This is about as high as it gets. Now, this can be improved. This weapon here, there's two ways to improve it, which I'll show off later. The first one is by increasing the quality from excellent to masterpiece. And secondly, we can awaken this weapon, giving it 3 additional stats, which are as strong as an entire food buff. Alright? Also, this food buff could be improved to 0.3 level of enchantment. This potion could be tier 8.3 enchanted. And as far as specialization goes, this character, while he has level 100 quarterstaff, he does have level 100 double-bladed. This could be increased to level 120 double-bladed, and increasing all of these other quarterstaffs here to level 120 would strengthen the weapon as well. But this is simply way overkill for what I'm going to be using it for. So here we have a mysterious stranger. This is a real player who is using gear that is quite noobish. This is 4.1. He doesn't have maximum spec. He has 34 out of 120. 30 out of 120. This player stands 0 chance of ever beating me or escaping. There is nothing this player can do. So all I have to do is just simply run up to him and attack him, and he is 100% dead. Look at that, he died in mere seconds. He is now no longer allowed to play in this zone, and as a matter of fact, this mob here is actually the one that did the final blow, reducing his HP all the way down. What this means now is that this player cannot play the game at all for the next 3 minutes. Now, I could end his suffering early and execute him. Granted, this is a safe zone, so he will not lose his gear. But believe me when I say that lots of players use this type of gear in full loot zones, and they kill players like this every single day by the thousands. And while we sit here with our friend and suffer in silence, here is an example. This is a character using 8.4, the newest weapon possible, with some of the highest burst to single target damage, 1,975 item power, and he just killed a player here 12 minutes ago, as a matter of fact, with 1,329 item power. If these two numbers are around 200 apart, the person with 200 more generally will almost always win the fight. So you can see here, IP, item power, unfair, unfair, unfair. It just goes down. Now, he died here with some crappy gear against people where the IP was actually fair 1 hour ago, of course, right? Now, looks like we have some... He did a lot of ZVZs, it looks like. But, oh, nope, we're back to the 8.4. Look at this, 4 hours ago. He's just murdering everybody out here. Now, granted, he's got a few deaths here, but he was using weaker gear, as you can see. But when he's got that Gucci gear on, he is not dying. He is absolutely just beasting. And this is just one player of many. This is one player of many. If we go to the PvP fame of all time, that's the character I just showed in Mr. Number 1. Well, you can go to the second guy here and just look. They're all using the same superior high-grade level gear. It may not be the best possible gear, but man, it gets crazy. So this guy's about to revive, and I'm going to take 5% of his durability, which is going to cost him not too much because it's newbie gear, but it's still going to cost him, especially if he's a new player, and down he goes. He's now banned. He's not really banned. He is banished from this zone, and he cannot come back. So if he wanted this little treasure here, or he wanted to finish this camp, he can't do it anymore because a player like me who has spent over 3 years playing the game and hundreds of millions of silver simply decided it wasn't the case. That is how it is imbalanced and unfair. But as far as balance goes, that's a whole nother discussion because there are several different weapons in this game and they have certain uses and certain, things. But this little build here I'm showing, it may not be the statistically best build, but if I see another player, unless they have a similar build exactly like mine with cooldown reduction, they can't escape. And, I might even be able to dismount some of them. Like, this character's on a mount. He's now dismounted. and he literally cannot run from me. He may have the advantage right now where he's running away, but and I didn't script this. This is just a random person in a random instance. He can't escape. This guy just literally cannot run. He is forced to die at this point. He has no way to avoid me attacking him. And that's partly because of his build, and he's going to heal here. I'm going to let him heal. I don't care. My gear is so strong and my level is so much higher than his that he can't even do anything. I'm hoping that these mobs might kill him. He's got, you know, a few sources of healing. I'm actually letting him go here a little bit. And look, he used his boots ability to run away. I used my boots ability to run away. There we go. He has 69 HP, 11 HP, and he's downed. So because he's, again, down by the mobs, he is now stuck here for another 3 minutes of his life, unable to leave, and he's cussing me out in another language. He's also calling me, I guess, a hacker. I'm not really sure what's up with that, but we got another contestant coming up, and this guy's a little bit better geared. I'm actually half HP, and you know, we could still take that dude that's transformed. Again, he's saying cuss words. Oh, where you going, buddy? Now this guy has a faster, you know, more reliable mount, but it wasn't enough. Again, you cannot escape. Now this guy can actually put up a small fight here. But here's the thing with my set. This is what makes my set superior, is that I can just leave. This person cannot chase me. He does not have the skills, the gear, and even, like, I'm not even playing my character right here, and I can just walk out of this. It's not a big deal. Okay, that hurt. But hey, look, I'm at 85 health, and I'm gone. I can simply just run from this player and escape, no problems, because of my cooldown reduction and my abilities. He won't be able to catch me. Watch. I'm going to jump away now. I'm going to dash away again. And once I mount up, right now, I am now safe. I am completely safe, unable to be killed. And I played this completely wrong. And look, he used all of his abilities to try to catch up to me. And I'm even standing in some of his attacks, and he still can't catch me. Remember, this guy has a mount that does not gallop. It has a consistent speed. Well, I have a better mount that's tankier and has a short, you know, time to gallop, but it has a much faster maximum move speed. So, again, I can just leave the fight if I am either, you know, at a disadvantage or if I was slightly undergeared. In that case, he had an okay weapon and not much else, but we can come back to this guy who is still stuck here for the next 3 minutes and take him out. We have another contestant here. This is a flat 4 guy. Even though I'm on low HP, I could just straight up kill this dude. Maybe he'll attack me, maybe not, I don't know. But because I'm in combat, I'm not naturally healing, so I can exit combat, and because of my superior gear, I will be able to regenerate my HP. If that other player comes back, I can handle him no problem. But I do want to go ahead and execute this guy, and if I get hit by the mobs, the execute gets, he's still going, he's still mad. And he's gonna stay mad, that's just how it is. Now, I could let him get up. He's already taken a repair bill from being down by the mobs. I can give him another repair bill, doubling his cost. Or I can just banish him from the area. There we go. And that, again, how is this fair? How is this balanced? How is this fun for new players? I don't know. But it's something that this company needs to address, especially in a safe zone that's meant for newer players. I'm not a new player. I shouldn't be here in this gear. But I still can farm this area way faster and more efficient than these other players can. And, you know, I can just do this all day if I want. I can just attack these players that have zero chance of surviving. This guy, look, he's panicking. He's not going to fight me. He doesn't want to hit me because it puts him in combat. He's just going to stand here and let me down him. Except I'm going to let the mob down him, right? So he went invisible, and now he's fighting the mob. I'm going to hit him there. Try to lower his HP a bit. And he just can't play the game anymore. This player literally can't... Oh, now he's down by the mob. So that's another 3-minute timeout for that guy. Now, this is where 92%... Hey, that guy's back. Look, we're both full HP. Now, look at his armor. I actually forgot to look at his armor. He is in full 8-4 armor, and you see this star? He is level 111. So that guy is actually... His armor is better than what I've got on. His weapon is not. But it doesn't matter because I'm the more imbalanced build. Now, you know what happens when this game mode first launched? Healers were super imbalanced. So you know what they did? They nerfed healing. But this build, they don't nerf cooldown reduction. They aren't nerfing mobility. They just, now that the content has been out a while, instead of adjusting things and fine-tuning things, they are just letting it rot. Letting players like this suffer. And there's nothing, no, I'm not going to execute him. I'm going to make him wait 2 more minutes. There's nothing that players can do except quit the game, which is what's happening. It's ridiculous. And I just want to touch on the fact that 92% of the player base that remains in this game play the safe zones. 92%. That means only 8% of the entire player base actually goes to the red zones where there's full loot, or up here into the black zones where there's full loot. And the reason why that only 8% play those zones is because in order to do anything in these zones, and I think he wrote me a nasty... No, I just sold something. I thought he wrote me a nasty letter. Say the N-word, boy. Well, that's clearly an alt. People get mad in this game. I love it. So it's a griefer's paradise. Sure. People like me, that's why we play this game. But if you're just a normal person, that's why they don't play this game. Anyway, so, this zone here will be mass controlled by a lot of hideouts. Meaning that if you're in a guild, you have a huge advantage over players that don't have a guild. Which people would argue, oh, that should be the case. But what it means is that if I try to go to any of these zones as a guildless solo player, I will be hunted down by 10 players. Now, believe you me, this character here with this flat tier 4, if 10 of them came after me, I might be in trouble. Yes, I might be in trouble. But there is no reason for people to group up 10 at a time in a safe zone. They only do it in the unsafe zones because if they don't, they die. It's the only way to play the unsafe zones is safety in numbers. That is the only way that they do it. So what kind of rewards do those full loot zones have? Well, the best stuff in the game, the best resources, the highest fame mobs when you kill them. They also have these little open world small treasure chests that spawn, sometimes large chests, sometimes really large chests. They can be worth lots of in-game currency and items. And as a new player, you will never get those unless you get incredibly lucky and there's no one in the zone, which never happens in a black zone. And in these safe zones, you won't get them because geared players like me will simply sit here and yoink it for ourselves, getting even more rich. So that's another unfair and unbalanced thing, is that new players don't really have the best ways to catch up to the veteran players, right? The set that I'm wearing right now is estimated 116 million... It's 117 million silver. Well, to get that much in gold would be like, I don't know, let's see, 25,000? Yeah, about 25,000 gold would be able to afford that, right? And to buy that with real money in the cash shop, by the way, this game is pay to win, well, that's 19,000 gold for $100. So my character right now is wearing well over $100 worth of loot. So unless you spend 100 real-life dollars and then grind the levels to be able to wear this stuff, and then grind, the fame required to have 100 specialization, you can't compete with me, and that sucks for video games, okay? I understand that, if you played an old MMORPG like World of Warcraft and you're level 20 and a level 60 that has raid gear, there's nothing they can do. They're just dead. Well, this game is unbalanced and unfair in the exact same way. Except you don't have to do the grind in this game because you can just, again, use your money, your silver, to get fame tomes, which I have one right here. Now, this one isn't for sale. This is earned through the game. It has the no sale sign on it. But there are this exact same fame tome that rewards 10,000 combat fame that you can buy with silver. And because you can buy gold with real money, and then you can buy silver with the gold, as I just demonstrated, you can just level up your character to its absolute maximum potential with real money and skip the grind entirely. So yes, someone that has a very wealthy real-life job or lots of expendable real-life income can absolutely compete with me, whereas I played the game manually for years to be able to get to this point, right? And that's the only real way that someone can fairly compete with a player like me, is if they buy into the game, which, this is a free-to-play game, so it's how the developers make their money. That's just how it is. And as far as this build I'm showcasing goes, in this specific zone, the Mists, yes, this is the King superior build. Other parts of the game have different builds that are superior, but this is the, newest and most popular, area of the game that people are playing for solo players. So let's go over every weapon and see how they would fare against this build, because they won't fare very well. So we have, here's the Warlock tree, the Curse Staff tree, right? These weapons, if I see them, I run away. The Frost Staff tree, they can kite me around or try to, and something's happening nearby. I unflagged, so I'm not going to attack that guy. He's out here gathering. So if I see the Frost Staff tree, I can definitely chase them down and kill them. They might kill me if they're better or better geared to the game, but chances are if that becomes part of the fight where I'm at a disadvantage, I leave. They can't chase me down. Arcane Staff, again, they can't kill me. I just run away if I'm at a disadvantage. A healer, they can't kill me. I can definitely kill them. A Fire Staff user. Now, this is actually a hard counter to my build because they have a spell called Firewall. But in this instance, I just leave. I just run away. They have one movement ability, which would not be... If they have that on, then I can kill them because my movement abilities are better, and it takes the slot of their Firewall. Next up, we have... what kind of weapon here do we have? We have another healing weapon line. They can't kill me. I can just run away. They have no movement. They can't chase me. Here we have the newest weapon line, the Shapeshifter weapons. Now, the Prowling Staff could absolutely kill me, or I can just run away from it. Though this is quite hard to run away from. The other ones aren't a threat. I can't beat the Blood Moon Staff, but I can run away from it. Then we have, of course, the Double-Bladed Staff, which versus all the other staffs, I'm going to be able to run away, except maybe Grail Seeker if they're better at the game than me. That's the only exception. Spears... Yeah, I can just run away. I can just run away from spears, but I can usually just kill them. Daggers, well, I can make them waste their cooldowns and outplay them and run away. They have good mobility too, so if I make mistakes, they could technically kill me, right? You see the imbalance yet? Bows, I just run away if I'm in danger, or I chase them down. They're quite mobile. Bows are actually mobile in this game, but they're not that dangerous compared to what I have on. There's not much else going on here. We have crossbows, which, again, I can just outmaneuver them or kill them straight up. Then we have the fist weapons, and I am being kicked out of my instance. That's why it loaded like that, because these things tend to close after a few minutes. But other than that, the fist weapons, they are a mobile weapon. I'm not going to die to them, though, unless they're a one-shot build, which is this guy. But if I see it, I simply don't fight it. That's how this game is. Hammer weapons. Well, these are tank weapons. I don't have to worry about 1v1ing a tank. They can't run from me, except unless they're a great hammer build, they can maybe run from me, but chances are they won't. Then we have maces, again, more tank builds, they're not going to run away. Axe builds, they can be a little dangerous, especially battle axe in a 1v1, but if I'm at a disadvantage, I just leave. They can't find me, they can't follow me, I just run away. Swords are also highly mobile and quite dangerous, so maybe the sword could beat me, but I can outmaneuver it, I simply won't fight it if I see it, and that's all the weapons. How is that fair? How is that balanced? Why has this not been fixed? It's been this way for nearly a year now, and that's just how Albion Online is, it's just unbalanced, and that's just item power and items. Next up is the discussion about silver. That is the in-game currency. The more you have, the easier it is to make. When you are new, you are broke. You are poor. If you are poor, you cannot buy premium, which means you do not get a 50% bonus on almost everything you do and pay less taxes. If you are poor, you do not have personal and guild islands filled with laborers that make you free money every single day. If you are poor and broke, you cannot buy these 8.4 items and swap them out as you want. If you are poor and broke, you can't ride the fast and beefy mounts that can hold more things and allowing you to gather more. If you're poor and broke, you can't afford the high-level gathering gear, the potions and the food required to gather better. You can't afford your repair bills. You can't afford throwaway sets for the full loot zones to have some full loot PvP fun. If you're poor and broke, you can't set up passive sources of income. If you're poor and broke, you get the idea. I don't need to drill it into your head any longer. You understand, right? The more money you have, the easier it is to make money. This Tier 8 Elders Guild Hall passively can make 500k to $1 million a day, and I don't even, barely use it that often, right? But it can if I want it to. Actually, each one of these guys makes me 500k, so yeah, it's a little bit wild. And here's another thing. These little spy glasses are anywhere from 8 to 12 million each, and I have 5 of them, which is the maximum that you would use for such a thing. Again, broke people can't, utilize all this. All these spy glasses do is give me a 1.2% bonus, I think, to my yield. And the poorer you are, the less silver you make in this game, which is true to real life too. If you're a multi-billionaire, it's easy for billionaires to make billions. But again, that's super unfair for a video game and for new players. For a new players simply will not reach this level of wealth by themselves unless they really, really do spreadsheets and math. Because back in the day, it was easier to make this money. Back in the day, premium was 3 million silver, 6 million silver, 8 million silver. Now it's 17 million silver because the devs got a little more greedy and wanted a little bit more money from the players. And that sucks. I mean, back in the day, premium was $5 real life dollars. Now it's 15. It's went up by like 3 times its an original amount. Blame inflation. That's what they did. Oh no, there's inflation in real life. We have to raise the prices, guys. And everyone quit. That's just how it is. Next up is the power of friendship. And this is, it's an MMORPG. You should be having friends, right? No, not exactly. So in this game, if you don't suck the toes of the big guilds of the cartels, you can't get ahead in this game. Except in my case, I managed to do pretty good by myself. So let me give you several examples here. All right, so in every town in the royal cities, that means the safe zones. We also have Carleon, which is not the safe zone. You have these player-run shops. Like this is owned by a real player named Kurgabagabagle, and this, hey, it's the same guy. And you're Inadane and Lima. Like Lima here owns this lumber mill, and he's overcharging the hell out of it. Well, gee, there's only 3 lumber mills in the town. Let's see what the other 2 are charging. This one is owned by the cartel, so he's actually doing a decent service here for once. And this is owned by a barcode name who undercut the cartel member by 10. So I don't know. This is a bad example, but normally the cartel controls all of these all the time. And they set the prices. And if you dare card swipe and spend hundreds of real life dollars to buy one of these buildings or plots for the building, the cartel comes and crafts a bunch of garbage items to drain your food from the station, lower your durability, and lower your crafting maximum capacity. So after too many players craft at a station, it needs some time to recharge. Or you just break it down and rebuild it, which costs a lot of silver to do. But the cartel will make sure that your station never profits if you don't follow their bullying. And there's hundreds of them in a Discord. You can't win. You're never going to profit off of anything, because if you don't bend the knee and do what they say, you lose. And that's just the economic side, all right? Yeah, the black zone areas. When you craft in these black zones, you have a crafting bonus that's higher than anywhere else in the game. But in order to do it, you gotta have these little hideouts. And in order to have a hideout, you need money and friends and power. Well, guess what? If I were to go place a hideout in the black zone, I could do it. I could afford it. Then I will have 20 different guilds at my door wanting ransoms. They want me to pay them a monthly amount of silver. Otherwise, they'll come with their 10 buddies or 100 buddies, however many it takes. They have the numbers. And they will smash it down if I don't pay them. And sometimes they'll smash it down even if I did pay them. So if you don't join a guild and to do these kind of activities, you simply can't beat them at their own game. I will never be able to be a weapon or armor crafter in this game because people in hideouts simply have a higher advantage, meaning they can sell at more of a loss than I can, meaning I can't compete economically with them. It is just simply impossible. That's just how it is. And the same goes for every bit of thing in this game. There are world bosses, these big monstrous creatures that give the most fame in the game, and only a select number of guilds control it. Like this one will appear in 9 minutes. And if I were to get here in 9 minutes, which I won't be able to do, but if I did, you'll see an entire guild police the whole zone. There's no getting into here. You will be murdered on sight. They will have the full control of the area. There's nothing I could do. I can't, even with a few friends, I wouldn't be able to touch that zone at all. I would be a minor nuisance to the guards that they have posted up there. Again, unless I want to pay an exorbitant amount of money to get into their guild and do a bunch of work and stuff. And it's not just in-game stuff. Like, if you're a content creator for this game and you aren't, networking and collabing and bending the knee to people who have different ideologies than you, then you get blacklisted, you get made fun of, you get bullied. You don't get Twitch drops, you don't get giveaway codes for your fans. That's just how it is. And it's really sad to see how wild and crazy it truly, truly gets. So yes, if you want to be a slave for a guild, then you might have a little bit minor success in that kind of areas. But at the same time, guess what? Guilds can tax you. They can set how much money goes to their guild bank every time you loot anything. And that is not fair or fun. Next up is third-party exploiters, and this is botters, cheaters, hackers. This game is flooded with bots. Though it's not as bad as Lost Ark and Amazon games and New World, so I try not to complain too much about this one, but it does have bots. It does have a botting problem. Both servers, especially East, everyone that plays East knows the bots. There are multi-boxers, which is not allowed in the game, where people transport hearts using like 2 to 5 accounts at the same time. They're just one little blob of characters being controlled by one guy, making 5 times the amount of silver that a normal player could. There are people that use programs that map out what's called the Avalonian Roads so that they can travel around at hyperspeed compared to anyone that doesn't have this program. There are people that have radar hacks, ESP hacks, where they can see beyond the viewpoint of their screen, that automatically inspects people's gear, tells them what's around them outside of their rendered distance. There are people that use their phones and GeForce Now to post up scouts on every single entrance and exit of every single dangerous full loot zone, and then they gank transporters. Like if I get on an Ox and put a bunch of valuable loot on my character and transport it to the full loot city known as Caerleon, there will be scouts, automated and manual, using this technique to track me down and kill me with their 10-man group. You cannot effectively transport here unless you get very lucky, your timing is good, or the scouts somehow miss you with all of their extra phones and GeForce Now accounts. It simply doesn't happen. It rarely happens, but it's like you're putting a huge risk to make a tiny bit of profit, and they have none of the risk because they're in a massive group and they have eyes everywhere, and they're all in Discord, of course, But, Discord itself is kind of integrated into games these days. I don't really agree with it. I miss the old days where, hell, there wasn't even Ventrilo, but, that's just me. Anyway, that's all I've got for unfair, what are we talking about again? Unbalanced and unfair Albion Online things. Thank you so much for watching. People will downvote the hell out of this because they will disagree with me, so please do your part and upvote the video. Click that thumbs up button. It takes a few seconds, just do it. And leave a comment because I read every single comment. Let me know if you used to play this game and why you quit. I would love to hear it so we can have a little discussion going. Finally, on the right side of your screen is a video you should absolutely click. And if you don't, and you own a pet, that pet will destroy some of your furniture in the next 2 months. Yes, you get a long time frame, but in 2 months' time, your pet or animal will destroy your furniture. Not all of it, just maybe one part of the furniture or something, but it's gonna happen, so click that video. If you don't have a pet, congrats, you get a freebie today.